Well, hello, writers. Welcome to episode 10 of How Do You Write? I'm your host, Rachael Herron. And before we get into the interview, which was another incredible one, I'm feeling really lucky to be talking to these people. This one is with Morgan Jerkins, and she's incredible, dynamic, and I'm so glad that I'm introducing her to you. A little bit about my writing week, and then we'll jump right into the interview. I have been writing, and my soul feels pretty damn good. There were a lot of weeks for a while where I was so solidly in revision for a long time with two different books that getting this deep into the first draft of a book feels actually good. And you know me, I hate first drafts. That's who I am. But I don't hate this first draft. I know I've said that before, but I do not trust this feeling. I'm writing about 3,000 words a day, and I'm taking the weekends off, and that's a pretty fast pace, but it's definitely doable. And I think that my excitement about a work really has a lot to do with how fast I go in that first draft. It means if I go fast, it means I can stay inside it. And I don't always know what's going to happen, even though I wish I were a better plotter. I'm just not. And I've also got a couple essays due that I need to do soon. So those are going to be my afternoon writing pieces. But I'm just having a good time. I'm having kind of a slow week. Lala's out of town. And the lawnmower just started up outside, so I'll make this short. She's out of town, so I'm having some bachelor time. I made the best pizza of my life last night with a gluten-free crust. I will actually put the recipe in the show notes because if you are gluten-free, this was amazing. I'm still not recovered from that pizza. And that's about it. So please enjoy this interview. And whatever you are writing, please write some more. Please believe in yourself. You can do this. We're all out here cheering for you. And enjoy the interview with Morgan Jerkins. All right. I would love to welcome Morgan Jerkins to the How Do You Write podcast. She lives and writes in New York. She graduated from Princeton University with an AB in Comparative Literature, specializing in 19th century Russian literature and post-war modern Japanese literature. And she has an MFA from the Bennington Writing Seminars, and she speaks 6 languages. And currently she's a contributing editor at Catapult and a Book of the Month judge. And on the freelance side, her work has appeared in The New Yorker, Vogue, The New York Times, The Atlantic, ELLE, Rolling Stone, The Guardian, and BuzzFeed, among many others. And her debut essay collection, This Will Be My Undoing, is forthcoming from Harper Perennial. So welcome, Morgan.
Thank you for having me.
That's super exciting. And and I love the title of the essay collection.
Thank you. You know what? I actually thought that it was going to be too long-winded because I'm generally a long-winded writer at first. So I was surprised when I got a lot of good feedback for it. I was like, oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So often we don't get to keep our titles, and
Right.
that's perfect. When is that coming out? I wanted to ask.
Early 2018.
Awesome. Well, as soon as it is pre-orderable, I will put it in the show notes for those who are listening back in the archives because I can't wait to read that. Essays are my favorite genre to read right now. So
Thank you.
All right, we'll jump right back into your process. What is the best time of day for you to write and where?
Early mornings.
What's early to you?
Okay, so I wake up generally around 6:30 in the morning. It doesn't matter if I go to sleep at 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up at 6:30 and I get started at 7 a.m. sharp. And usually I write until about 9:30 a.m. and then I take a break.
Yes.
And it's always in my room. I did write in a cafe once, but I can't, I'm very paranoid, so I can't deal with people walking around me having their huge espresso latte cup. I just can't do that. So it's like I love a huge sense of control. So that's why I stay in my room at all times when I'm writing.
Do you do anything before you start writing? Or do you just jump right in?
Yes, I pray before I write.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that is going to take a lot out of me. So since I'm writing an essay collection, a lot of it is very personal.
Yeah.
And I either make the decision subconsciously or consciously to hold back and just wait until the editor will say, well, you need to add more there. But it's like, okay, I need some extra strength. So usually like I pray, or like I just close my eyes for a minute and settle my thoughts, or listen to some type of acoustic playlist on Spotify, and then I go.
Perfect. Awesome. And how do you write? Are you longhand, computer?
Computer. My handwriting is atrocious. Like once I write something, I don't know if I'll be able to read it in like 2 days, because it's very much like chicken scratch. So I need to do it on a computer. And also my mind processes things very quickly.
Yeah.
And so I need I type extremely fast, like probably like 80 to 90 words per minute.
Nice.
So I can keep up with my mind that way rather than writing and
Yeah. Have you
on
ever
hand.
experimented with dictation at all?
I haven't.
Yeah, I really want to do more of it, and I was just trying to do it before I called you, and I'm terrible at it.
It's like I don't want to hear myself speak.
I don't want to see the errors show up on the screen, because then it takes me out of the composition process and into the editing mind. But I'm gonna get it figured out. This is my year.
Right.
And are you a plotter or a pantser when you're writing?
I'm a pantser. Yes, I used to be a plotter.
Okay,
I used to be the type of writer who would construct these elaborate maps and lists and bullet points and say, this is how I'm going to write, this is how I'm going to get there, and this is going to be conclusion, boom. But I think in the past 2 or 3 years, I just realized that especially because I focused on fiction in my MFA program, and I realized that I'm not working in a state of unknowing. I heard a speech by a poet. I think her name is Mary Lowe, or Marie Lowe. I'm messing up her name. I'm sorry. She used to be a poet laureate for the state of New York. And she said sometimes you have to get in a state of unknowing to really harness your creative power. And when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. So ever since then, like I'll think in my head, whether like in the shower or like making dinner, like, okay, like I have an idea, like I have the genesis of something. I don't really know where I'm going to go with it. And a lot of times when I'm writing, the thesis will come to me as I'm bringing up this memory and recreating the scene in my mind. And it's a lot funner because I realize that like I control my setting, I control my schedule and all that, but I can't control how the memory is going to affect me again for the second and third time.
Right.
So I can't say, okay, well, this memory is going to be good. This memory is going to be bad. It's just, I have to just let it happen at the same time. Like almost as if I'm trying to get into a state of hypnosis all over again.
I love that. And it's so counter to what a lot of people say. A lot of people say, I started off as a pantser and it freaked them out so much that they turned into a plotter. And you actually went the reverse direction for a really excellent reason.
Right, definitely. I had to give up control.
Yeah. What is the worst writing advice you've ever been given?
The worst writing advice I've ever been given? Wow. I think it's actually something that I've told myself.
Oh, like no.
I think it's something that I used to think that if I tried to write in dialect at any single time, that wasn't beautiful, that wasn't sophisticated enough. If I didn't try to write in elaborate sentences all the time, once again, like that's not showing my genius. That's not showing the full extent of my talent. And that was just because of my academic discipline. If you're reading 19th century Russian, if you're reading Tolstoy and Dostoevsky all the time, you're going to think that is the right way to do it because they're considered one of the greats in world literature. And so it was never really anything that any instructor has told me. It was basically what I was telling myself.
That is an excellent answer. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I've absolutely been there. One of my favorite contemporary writers has these sentences that have, 17 clauses and perfect turns, and it's all, in one sentence, and I just will never be able to do it. And it made me feel terrible for a long time.
Right.
What secret writing tip of awesomeness did you discover the hard way?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it's sort of connected to the previous question where it's just like, say what you have to say. Like you don't have to use these $5 million words. You don't have to try to sound complicated. What is it that you're trying to say in that moment? And sometimes it could be the most simplest phrases, and it has the most immense impact on the reader. So a lot of times when I would work with my instructors, particularly in the Bennington Writing Seminars, they would tell me things like, just say what you have to say, and don't be afraid to say it in the way that comes most natural to you. Because if you're trying to sound like Alice Munro, or if you're trying to sound like, Edward P. Jones or whatever, then people are going to people aren't stupid. Like, they're going to sort of sense that you're creating a barrier to them understanding where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like, just say what you have to say.
I'm reminded of, I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Ann Patchett, but I'm not totally sure. She said something like, sometimes you just have to have a character open the door. He opened the door. There, the door is open.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's open. Like, just go.
Don't try to make it perfect and beautiful.
Right, exactly.
And how do you refill your creative well when you're running dry?
Oh, I take naps.
Oh, I love naps.
And the thing is like, and people, my friend circle likes to call me grandma a lot of times, but it's like, when I wake up in the morning, I get into this is like a psychological state called the zone, where everything really just not literally, but it collapses around me, where all I am is focusing on that project. And so when I'm churning out at least 2,000 words daily, all of a sudden I burn out for a little bit, and I'm just like, all I do is like, I kind of just, I make breakfast and I try to go with my day, but I need to take a nap around noon to not regenerate. That sounds so sci-fi, but to recharge.
Yeah. Actually, I have a side question for you. Do you prefer those first drafts of 2,000 words, or do you prefer a revision?
Oh.
What's your favorite part?
I don't know, because you want to know, I was going to say that when I write online, I love the revision part. But I'm noticing that as I'm writing this essay collection, I actually like the first draft because it's so raw. Like, it's just like, when I'm bringing up memories from when I was 12 years old, when I was 5, or when I was 20, I realized how my hands are just going, and it's just like, I remember it so vividly, and it's so raw. It's almost as if, like, imagine if you see an Olympian runner who's running like the 100-meter dash or whatever, and like, you would think that once they cross that line, they stop, but they keep going. It's kind of like me. It's like, I keep going up, like, whoa, like, maybe I should take a break, but no, I want to keep going. Like, it's just like, it's this natural high that's going on. But I think the revision process will be fun, but right now it's just like, I'm just churning it out. Like, it's been a lot of fun.
That is a beautiful image, and I'm really enjoying thinking of your writing and harnessing that power.
Thank you.
I can't wait to read this book.
Thank you.
On really bad days, what other profession do you wish you had chosen? This is a new question, and I'm excited that I'm asking you it.
I would love to be working at a spa. Working at a spa, or like being like a therapist, maybe. Like, I love helping other people. I know that's like really cheesy, but it's like, I love the spa aspect of it, because I love learning about massages and facials and like body wash, like showers. And like, I think that's so cool. And I also love the therapy aspect of it, because everyone has this story, and their mind is full of all of these different collages of things that's happened, and all of it has brought them to this point. And speaking as someone who's like, just, I used, my stepfather was a psychologist, so to really see how complex the mind is, and to watch someone unravel that, and see how emotional they get in a way that they're really working, I think it's incredible. Like, I think it's very fascinating.
I think in an interesting way, you're kind of doing exactly those two things. You're doing the therapy work, the helping other people with your writing, and the spa part you get in your naps in the afternoon.
Yeah,
I don't think you're far off.
I didn't even think about it that way. Like, if I had my perfect day, I would probably get massage, or just my perfect month, I would get massages like weekly, all the time.
I have a fantasy that someday I'll be rich, and I will hire a masseuse, pay him a very high living wage, and have him massage me once a day, or maybe 3 times a week, and the rest of the time is his. He can do whatever he wants.
Too.
But when that just on retainer.
if I were wealthy, I would have an on-call masseuse. Absolutely.
And it would be my friend Raul because he's a miracle walking.
Nice.
Can you give us a quick craft tip of some sort?
Oh man. Okay. So in terms of essay writing, personal essay writing, a lot of times I'll come across individuals, particularly women, when they're recreating a scene or they're talking about especially something. It's always with like childhood memories. They will give us these snapshots of certain events that are very amorphous, and then like smack dab in the middle of the essay, they will come to this huge realization, and they'll describe it beautifully. But then I'll say, we didn't earn that yet,
right?
And I'll talk, and so like I think what I would say as far as a craft tip is to don't be afraid to just embellish what is happening in the beginning, because you can go back to that and revise it later. Don't be afraid if you're talking about a memory of whatever it might be. It might have been a horrible boyfriend. It might have been like some type of controversy that happened when you were working in the academy, something. But it's like, don't be afraid to explore every single emotion that you have, whether it's negative or positive. Because I think a lot of times during the writing process, women especially will try to invalidate or judge their emotions before they even hash it out.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of the, I don't know if that's a craft tip or like a psychological tip. I don't know.
But all of it.
Yeah, but I think it's one of the things that I would tell writers do when it's personal essay is, in short, don't hold back. But in order to elaborate, I would say to, when you're feeling a certain emotion as you're writing something, do not try to judge it. In fact, work through that judgment as you're writing it, so that when you arrive at these epiphanies, we feel like we actually earned it. Like we felt like we were climbing that mountaintop with you.
That is perfect. And I'm teaching a memoir class at Stanford next semester.
Oh, wow.
And I really actually want to come back to you and ask you to come sit in and maybe Skype in with my students, because I think you would be phenomenal for them to listen to about this. So I'll circle around with you on that one.
Yes, that would be an honor. I'd love that.
All right, and what would you like to plug right now? What should we go?
Okay, so read? Plug. So, what does plug mean? I was like, what does the plug mean?
What's something that's out right now that you'd like us to look at, or maybe one of your favorite essays that are out there?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's one. Sorry, I was like, what is plug? Okay, so I would want to talk about certain writers that I'm in love with.
Oh, please.
I love Morgan Parker. She is a poet. I think she's one of the most important poets of our generation. She's coming out with a book that's going to be released in Tin House, I think February 2017.
They're great.
The book is actually called There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce, which I think is a fabulous title.
Love it.
And so I would watch out for that. I would also watch out for Julie Buntin's Marlena. It's going to be published by Henry Holt. It's coming out, I think, in April 2017, if I'm not mistaken. I think in early 2017. And also Vincent Cunningham. He's a staff writer at the New Yorker, and I am just a huge fan of his work. I think that he's doing some of the most important work right now, especially in regards to race and culture, and especially having the platform with the New Yorker. Like he's amazing, and I think he's someone else to look out for.
In the show notes, I will put links to all of these people and their work, so listeners, you can go check that out. And Morgan, where can people find you online?
Okay, so my Twitter handle is just Morgan Jerkins. So my last name is Jerkins, Jerkins, not Jenkins, and that people mess that up all the time. And my website is just morgan-jerkins.com.
Perfect. You have been such a delight to talk to, and I thank you for moving your day around to talk to me. And
no problem.
You're truly inspiring, and I'm honored to have met you. So.
Oh, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Morgan. Have a great day.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.